knew I should turn this. Turn this on.
Okay.
Mim Jim. Dim Slim. Peace, y'all.
2 minutes, you know we waiting for the 2 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think you need
2 minute mark.
2 minutes.
Dang, you put that song in my head.
Which one, Bruno?
Our
daughters always. We don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno.
645. Don't know what the words are saying. We are live, trying to get this song out of our head, and it's not working. Cause you don't talk about Bruno.
Jeez.
Yes, they have us like this,
They're
y'all.
upstairs right now, singing it.
Not talking about Bruno. That has become a very popular song.
Oh man, it's on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
Do you, Disney? Yeah, Disney. Hey boy, we'll say that for the mall.
Yeah. What we going over today? The article I want to read to y'all. I thought it was some that I did on Better Minds with OCD, and for those that saw the OCD episode on Better Minds Interrupting, this is the part for you guys, the part 2 of it, the spiritual aspect, and I am looking for it right now. And it should be coming up.
Okay.
Come on.
Damn. Well, guys. All right. Welcome to Strictly Explicit Truth. Open Minds podcast. Welcome to Open Minds. And I told y'all we was going to come back with the Tuesday show. It's good. We got everything out of the way from early. Excuse me. We got everything out of the way from early. We don't have to worry about nothing. And we could glad we about to sit here and talk to y'all. And you know how we go in. I'm going to tell y'all like this. We're going to get real deep today, and I need you guys to remove your feelings out of this. All right? Shifu Drew, Empress Trini in the house, always. Babe.
Yeah.
I want you to comment after I go in on them. Well, not on them, on here with what we got to talk about, because I think they need to know it's a lot of avoidances and things. Let me grab this water.
Here we go. No, was this it? This wasn't it.
So after you hit them with that OCD, and kind of like smash them up.
You guys.
But I'm glad y'all here and y'all chilling. No worry, I like to do this in the process and make sure things celebrate. You know.
So y'all know we're gonna get busy real quick.
But I'm glad y'all here. We had a good workout today. Trini did the Qigong, the 5 animal. And it actually has been beneficial to her. She gained a lot of flexibility just doing the Qigong. And you gotta respect that. You gotta respect that. Anytime you're doing something that, like, I'm not gonna say that's different. I'm gonna say something that you never incorporated into your life. I'll say it like that. And then when you realize the benefits it have upon your health, you should be proud of yourself that you succeeded in doing that. You have to be proud of yourself before you look for other people to be proud of you. Because if you're proud of yourself, it doesn't matter if someone else is proud of you or not. You're the one who made the accomplishment. You understand? That's the sense of the accomplishment. So, it has been very beneficial to her. It has been, she had gained flexibility and even growing more stronger. The lesson that we're going to go in today is going to be real deep. You're going to be in your feelings, and I need you to not do that. I really need you to be open-minded, and I really need you to look at yourself and look at the situations. If you're a parent, I need you to look at the situations as it is as a parent. Now, I know earlier, before in the past, we had dealt with the right use of will, and then we went into original cause in the past shows. But if you don't know that, you can go and check those. But I am telling you, once we finish dealing with the spiritual part of OCD, you're going to be, you have it?
Yep.
All right. It's on you.
Okay, so check this out. Now, on the show, we all learned that OCD is more than just a repetitive thing that you might do. It's more than just, oh, I'm OCD with numbers.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than just, oh, I cleaned to death. It's more than just that. And in order for you to learn what is more than, check it out on Better Minds Interrupted. So, as far as the spiritual aspect of OCD, I'm gonna read this article that I found interesting, and we can talk and chop it up and all that. So, discovering your metaphysical nature and going through an awakening can be exhilarating, alarming, joyful, ecstatic, scary, sad, and everything in between. It's much like giving birth. A plethora of emotions and states of being can overwhelm you and also throw you on your path without warning. I wanted to address the escapism that also occurs during this process that many do not realize at times. In hindsight, if you have been on your path a while, you will most certainly recognize it in others. I was no different when I very spontaneously discovered my channeling. There were days I literally forgot to pay bills, etc. I have come a long way from that, which is why I want to discuss it. Why does this imbalance occur? To start, you have an influx of spiritual energy coursing through your body and psyche at a rate you've never experienced before. Some meditated a long time before this happened, where others it seems to just happen too. There is an adjustment period that requires integration. Let me change that. This wasn't about OCD. This was about escapism. When we went over escapism. So, scratch everything I said in the beginning. This is the spiritual aspect of escapism.
I mean, it still kind of sounded like it was a part of it. Maybe you was meant to read that. So
yeah,
that's they ain't tripping.
So this is the spiritual aspect of escapism, which I did do on Better Minds Interrupting as well. So why? Because the ego. Why? Because the ego does not like or want change. It will use this inexperienced state to keep you locked up in old patterns with a new job. More on the ego can be read on this blog post.
Okay.
So, much like an addiction, are you spending all your time processing, meditating, and reading spiritual subjects to the point of ignoring all responsibilities? This is one indication of escapism. I did go through a time where I did this. When I realized I had not paid my rent a week after its due date, I realized I needed some balance. You still live in this physical world. It is necessary to carry out your responsibilities and be able to work your meditative process. Are you unable to find common ground with people who are not metaphysical?
No.
So you're not able to find common ground. Okay.
This is what I mean. Okay, what do you mean by common ground? Give an example. Well, not an example, but like you mean like how we are if somebody else around us ain't like that. Can we find like a common? Yeah. In that sense, yeah. In that sense, yeah. Because I think we do it anyway.
Yeah.
All right. You're lucky. You guys are lucky. I was like, no.
So I know that there's an aspect to this that stays somewhat true. As in anything, if you have your spiritual path in common with someone, there will be a more open type of communication. However, if you cannot communicate with regular people at all, you are in a state of imbalance. And to pause there, that means your throat chakra, your communication chakra, which is your throat chakra, is deficient. I can find the love, common ground, and similarity in myself and anyone I am around. This happened once I was able to integrate my process and have it be part of me, rather than something that was so much bigger than. I could only talk to those that were also as ungrounded. A good example is someone who is only in it. Every time you see them, they are in a vortex of visions, just daydreaming. Language manipulation. This is my favorite. There is a language that one learns in this community. This happens in any type of broad interest, but if you are using metaphysical language to explain away why you didn't show up to work or why you thought it was okay to hit on someone's wife or husband, are not taking any responsibility for your actions, then you are in metaphysical escapism. You are still responsible for your action in this world. No amount of special spiritual juice you may have will excuse inappropriate behavior. Basic manners and boundaries still apply. Avoiding truth and pain. Being happy and in the light at all times is just not true. This is also known by bypassing. That's almost like that joke. I think it was Cat Williams when he was like, "Who the want to come home to a happy wife all the time?"
That was Kevin Hart.
That was Kevin Hart.
Like, who the fuck want to come home to that? Show's got some happy shit to say.
Hey, how you doing? We have sadness, anger, and negative ego.
That shit would be annoying. Hey, babe, how you doing? All right. There you go. You put your bag down.
Hope you had a good day, honey.
You had a good day. You will be in that mindset, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
To avoid the truth of this by trying to appear to only be spiritual is going to make you come off fake, inauthentic, and ungrounded.
I mean, all of them fake anyway. You got people being fake anyway. You step outside of it. Good morning. Hey, how you doing? Like look, like for once, I just feel, you know what? I'm not in the mood to say hello. I don't really care. I don't want to be here. I want to go home. But then you can't do that. You can't do that because then if you do that, then you're being mean or you're bullying.
Mm-hmm. I see this too much in the metaphysical community. As if there is some rule that says, oh, you're not spiritual if you seem to have anything other than love, light, and happiness about you.
See what I was just saying? See, like
I call
different than
this,
what I was saying.
right, I call this the airy fairy bullshit artist. Okay? If this is you, I suggest doing some shadow work to face the parts of yourself that need healing, rather than avoiding pain. It is a form of escapism and is damaging to your true self and healing path. I am not saying you will not become a happier person. In fact, you will, but in a much more balanced way. You will not be able to fake it and will go into pain just as elegantly as you go into the joy. Don't be afraid to show others this, all right? So believing you have all the answers because you are so psychic, spiritual, or open that you do not need training or healing of any kind. That goes with that you know everything. You don't need to learn nothing.
You need to learn nothing.
You know, how can you know everything? Really? Show me who know everything.
If you know everything, then why aren't you connected
to the
higher source? Right.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. These are some of the things inherent in metaphysical escapism. Aside from being a channel and having taken this path myself, I also own 2 metaphysical bookstores. I have seen just about everything. I was able to harness my gift because I was willing to face some of these ugly truths in myself. There are stages to awakening, and this is one of them, much like how a teenager thinks they know everything. There is similar adolescence period we go through during the awakening. Don't turn yourself away from seeing that maybe you've been in escapism. It's a beautiful thing when self-realization occurs. It is then that we can change and grow.
Now, I told you there was a reason why you was reading that. Because what we got to get into is already in here and it pertains to that right there. That's why I want you to jump in. When I go in, they have no idea. And again, I don't want y'all to be. What you need to realize as an adult, there's a spiritual reason why people used to be like, when you're a child, you do childish things. I'm not talking about playing with your children or having a good time or having fun or being funny. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm actually talking about when you reach a certain maturity in your life, there are things you have to just let go. And you have to accept the fact that those things had happened, or those things were said, or those things you passed up, or those things you didn't accept. You have to take that now, and you got to take that L. People, when they play sports, if they lose a game, they like, man, remember when we lost that game? Like, we play over like 20,000 games. So when we go into this, I really need y'all to just, I ain't asking y'all shit. If you got any parents in the house, you're gonna have to listen. And stop me when you need to stop me.
Okay.
But we could chop up and die because. Okay, now. In vibrating heartlessness, to let heart in. See it?
Heart song.
Okay. And in it, here we go, is this is where I'm starting from. That's what I'm saying. This is where I'm going to start from. It says, and even if you want to take my word for it and consider that original cause may be true, you haven't been able to find an emergence place that seems to be quite right for you. An emergence place. Keep that word in mind. The subject of God and sex is troublesome for you But even if you accept that what I have said is true, and I really did things that seem so outrageous to you, you still would not be sure where you emerged because you have not found any orgasm that seemed to be the right one for you. Now, what does that mean?
What does that mean?
You know, the woman and the man that be like, all right, they be having sex with one person, but then like after the one person is like, all right, well, I have something else again. And it's like you're looking for this in your mind, you're looking for this great orgasm that you think you have to have from this woman or this man and that man or whatever. But watch how I'll bust your head open. Although there are many variations of lovemaking not described in what I have told you, the issue for you is not whether hands were moved involved or not, where legs were located, or what position we were in. The issue for you still is feeling like you don't fit in. The issue is not being able to feel it inside yourself the way you need to know if it is real or true. Now, how many goddamn times have we sat up here and okay, I'm gonna calm down. How many times we sat up here and I told y'all it is you that's not understanding. Okay? It is you. You're the one that has to realize your will. You're denying that part of yourself. We got to get to that part because I know y'all hear me say that a lot, but honestly and truly, that's really what's missing on earth. That's really what's missing in you. You keep denying that shit. The reason why you see like every once in a blue moon or 3 blue moons, there's a person that comes along and has this prodigy-like mentality spiritually though, and you never know because they accepted they higher and lower self. Come on, guys, I gotta get real with it, yo. Okay, you think you might find your place if I would only mention an orgasm where there was a wedding first and then a proper method of coupling for the purpose of bringing children into the world. But even that would still bring it down from the holy place you thought you had found, where you believe that God did not need orgasm or sex to create, but lifted all that energy instead to a higher place. Now, what do y'all think? What do y'all think?
So,
go ahead. What?
The last part said God didn't need an orgasm or
they believe that
create.
You thought you had found, right? Where it said the holy place where you thought you had found, where you believe that God did not need orgasm or sex to create.
Okay.
But remember, we had learned he did. That's how all of this. All right. Okay. They ain't ready. They ain't ready. Okay. The reason why, where are we going from here? Are you saying that we're not supposed to be married to people that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the idea, what he's trying to break down is the idea of what you thought marriage was by a societal agreement, not by something you know, like how we were, like we knew. Like I'm talking about like people in their minds is like, well, you know, that's just the way you got to do it. You got to date, you got to meet somebody, you got to get married, got to have kids, then you die. No, you have grandkids. Like in them, like that is pertaining. That's what I mean. So hold on and calm down yourself and don't wet your bed. Even though you feel this way, many of you still will say you do not believe in original sin, which could just as well be called original misunderstanding or original cause. When you want to separate sex from the light, it certainly appears to me that you believe someplace within you that having sex is wrong, i.e. a sin. Otherwise, why couldn't you find a place within me for having sex? Placing sex outside of God is placing sex outside of love. And that, by the way, is the original sin. I just bust your ass again. I'm about to read that again. I'm going to read that whole thing again. It says, even though you feel this way, many of you still say you do not believe in original sin, which could just as well be cause original misunderstanding or what?
Original cause.
When you want to separate sex from my light, and it certainly appears to me that you believe someplace within you that what?
That having sex is wrong. For example, a sin.
Otherwise, why couldn't you find a place within me for having sex? Placing sex outside of God is placing sex outside of love. And that, by the way, is
original sin.
Every single being on this planet came into existence through intercourse, sex. Every single.
I can agree.
Why would space be any different? Why would that be
Why
any
would
different?
planets?
Why would they be right? Exactly. Why would that be any different to what we do, as they say, as above, so below?
Right.
So if you continuously saying as above, so below, as above means every single thing, and as below every single thing. There's nothing that is going on up there that is not going on down here. I don't understand where it's okay. Okay. And this is what they say about God. You say I'm omnipotent, omnipotent, omnipresent. Doesn't that mean I originated everything? If I originated everything, then where did sex begin? The problem for you is that you don't want to look because you might not like what you see. The problem is that you feel left out. But rather than feel the fear involved, you will rather say it's really the other way. Sex is not a part of my life. The problem for you is that there was no orgasm where you emerged, only ejaculation. Now that might go over y'all heads a little bit, and you're like, "What you talking about?" Right? So look, if you're skeptical instead of eager about seeing your original cause with me, you need to move back, not away from me, but into the past of this life and process it until you see the patterns you need to see. What are the patterns? Why do you have to go back? Because from the time you were small to before you was an adult, but from the time you were small, coming up to the age of you, okay? There were things that were placed in front of you. There were things that was done that you may have not understood. Your parents came at you a certain ways where you were kind of questioning them. Was like, well, you tell me you love me so much, but why is all this? Well, I'm getting in trouble. Well, I'm getting my aspect. But then you turn around and you tell me to do this, and then I get rewarded, and if I have to clean and all this extra stuff. I'm about to go into that right now. See, what you need to understand is when I was talking about the judgments and the denials are always born into the children. So whatever will denial that your parents had when they were creating us, those ended up being birthed in us, which is why what the heck? You know, which is why the way we are. Hold on, follow me. My light is not moving. My light is not moving out as it has in the past. But this does not mean you have understood me or that you have grown past your fears and buried old images of me. You all have buried parts of me that still see me as an intolerant and intolerably punitive God. A father who could never please, a father you knew in your past, a father you could not make sense of or get through to your point of view, but who still punish you and who never gave you a chance to explain your point of view if he happened to glance upon the wrongdoing. Thinking you move past this is why most of you haven't moved into original cause. You think you walked away from this father, and I'm talking about yourself, and never look back. Okay? All right. So you need to deal with your original sin. And I know y'all sitting up there like, hey, what the fuck is he talking about? Yo, like, what the hell is this all? Like, the reason why you don't know, because that's the part I'm talking about. You're not, those questions that you're saying is the questions you're supposed to be asking to yourself. Who really am I? What am I doing? Why do I always have this pattern? Why am I into this? Why am I into that? Some of y'all may be into witchcraft and Wicca and all of that, which is fine, but understand that is just a small fragment. That is supposed to help you awaken your consciousness. Once you will do that, there's no need for those things anymore because you're doing things. Now you'll be able to do things where that is nothing. That's like play school compared to what your consciousness can do. This is what I'm saying. But in order for you to understand that, and when I read, you have to understand the original sin, which it brings us here. Don't get upset. Here we go. You need to move back and back through your life until you can remember even past your birth to the sex your parents had when they made you. What were they feeling towards themselves and each other then during the consummation? You see? And it brought that up in Right Use of Will. What were your parents look, whoa, we're gonna go back. You need to move back and back through your life until you can remember even back past your birth to the sex your parents had when they made you. What were they feeling towards themselves and each other then during that act? After all, you were a part of it, okay? Or they could not have conceived you. How trapped by the ways and the mores of their time or reactionary toward them were they? Towards each other. Hold on. What they denied will tell you a lot about what you got. The chance is 100% that you got part or a lot of their denials. That's why each generation wonders how the next one got that way. What? What? That was crazy. How did you get here? How these kids, you know what they mean? Like, how these kids go, like we now was like, look at these damn kids, how these, but then when we was younger, they were saying it, and then when they was younger, they were saying it, and then they're gonna be saying it. You know why they're saying it? It's because of this. Oh, shit. But how do you go back into something you can't feel or remember with nothing inside you can trust to know? One way is try letting your first parents explain. Then, when you know what you need to know, you can risk moving a little bit, and this little bit will become more and more. So, the object is to open up the light inside of you. When we continuously talk about the gold light spirits, we're talking about the vibrational frequency, the harmony. that we keep in balance for creation.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing we got to do that within ourselves, the creation of ourselves. Because what's happening now is that there's going to be a lot of things to prevent you from waking yourself up. There's a lot of devices now that they're about to introduce right now to keep you glued in and locked in just like that. I mean, what you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
What you going to do?
So gotta get it together.
I mean, it's just, I ain't got nothing to say after that. I'm speechless. I'm just saying, what are you going to do? I mean, I can't tell you what to do if you don't know what to do already. Okay. So, loss of light that you need are all anxiously and expectingly encircling me because you think I finally just may or just might open the door to you and give you some of the light that has been so long hidden there. You know, people have this thing like, is if I suffer for so long, God gonna save me and think, how long you been suffering? How long you been suffering? And until you when you get yourself out of your own suffering, that is when your light kick on.
Mm-hmm.
You don't believe me? All right. All right. So take a breath. Take a deep breath. Take a deep, 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 deep breath. Okay? The feelings you have right now is all right. Even though you may know not or aren't sure, you have finally found the right door. And you're right. And you've always been right. It's my bedroom door. Watch this. This is parenting. Watch this. Now, doesn't that make you okay? He said my bedroom. I ain't gonna read that. So that'll make you feel weird. After so long a time, me seeming to not want you near, after so long a time of hearing me say, as your fathers do, leave me alone. I need space for you. Give me my privacy. And pretending this way that I don't see you and you don't see me because I'm not looking at you and you're not looking at me. After a long time of narrowing the spectrum of our perceptions in order to create an illusion of privacy to protect what we felt wasn't safe or comfortable to let others see, you're hearing me now, turn around and say, it's all right, relax, get real, it's a new day. After so long a time of keeping this gap in place between you and me, by not mentioning what we thought we were not supposed to see, I'm telling you that I realize that you have to know what I tried to keep hidden, but what took place nonetheless between the mother and me. This is talking about after the children are born. And you feel like, you know, once they get a little older, they're still little kids, but you feel like now every time you and the mom go in the bedroom, or the mom and or you and the pop go in the bedroom, that's y'all time. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's time for cuddling or y'all being intimate, that's y'all time. But every time y'all go in there, the child want to come in there and then they want to get in, you know, like, you know what I'm saying, and kind of stop it. And you know, after some time and doing that, it does get frustrated. And sometimes you don't realize that frustration, you not knowing, that is all from you not being around your partner for that long. You know what I'm saying? Because the child keeps coming in, and what it's trying to teach you is they don't know that they're doing that. Mm-hmm. But that is just hear me out. Mm-hmm. I know this isn't going to be easy to go into with me, but after so long, aren't you lonely, okay, for parents who really see you and love and accept you for whatever you are? If so, I want you to acknowledge this to me. Giving you light is not just a matter of opening my door. It is a matter of also of whether you can stand what's in store for you when you face the reflection you have to face if you open my door to you any further than I have before. If you want to face this reflection, I want you to acknowledge your feeling to me. What do you feel about this? Because yes, long ago, I did put you out in the middle of the night when your mother and I were having a terrible fight. Okay? And I put you out because you were having a terrible fright. And that is why, as much as you wanted to know what goes on in here, you're also afraid of what you might see and what you might hear, of what you might feel and what you might be. Because when children see the parents argue, that energy feed off to them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they grow up because some of them see it and they think it's all right. And then they end up doing it. So we put them out of the room so they don't hear us bickering. They don't hear us fighting. But they still try to come in. Mm-hmm. Hold on, I got something for you. Why are they coming in? Why are you saying this? Y'all know how I do. I'm going to break it down. We're going to break it down. Okay. Even though you don't like to, I want you to listen to me and let me tell you some things you have not known before in a cognitive way. I'm going to speak now about that which I never would say, and what I ask from you in return is that you give me the most real response that you can, and let me see how dedicated you are to healing this with me. How dedicated really are you to healing? Okay, let's start. Let's start by looking over your lives to see if you all ask yourselves the same questions or not, and the same feelings or not, the same hidden fears of no love or not, and most of all, the same life. Dysfunctional families who could not let you grow to know yourselves because nothing was known about how to know, okay? In these families, where love was a story with pictures that never came true, but instead remained something too distant and hard to reach for little you. Something so out of reach that you stopped trying to find what you never knew and could not find because you began believing it could never be true for you when you was growing up in your family. Y'all want me to read that again? I know y'all felt that shit. I know y'all like, yes, man. The fear presenting as avoidance patterns. The fear presenting as avoidance patterns. We need to write that down.
Escapism.
Yeah, avoidance patterns. That is, see?
That's a part of escapism.
You want to read the next? You want to read it? No.
We could not stand to have you pushing in on us all of the time, wanting to see every little thing that we did and then judging us when you didn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see what he did to her? Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't like that. Did you hear what she told him? Oh, I like to give her a smack. Did your tongues would go clap, clap, clap? Now, do you see why I pushed you back? Your pressure was too much for me with all the rest. I did not want this from my children. I needed some rest from the constant pressure of judgment and the endless pestering questions of how to live in manifestation, of how to love and how to get along in life and with one another. I never got to sleep with the mother alone anymore.
You see?
We always had children pestering us for more company, more cuddles, And you know the rest.
See, hold on before you finish. This is not saying I hear y'all. Are you saying my child ain't supposed to sit here? That is not what we're saying. If your children have night terrors, that is something completely different. That is something completely different. This here is about knowing where you went wrong. These are examples. Now that you are a parent, you can actually look at your child and you can go back into yourself and you can see the patterns of where you went wrong in yourself. So you can now be, watch when we get to bloodlines tomorrow. You dealing with vultures out here that is trying to block the light that you are awakening in yourself. Everybody right now, even some of these sports players, they're not really caring about money. Some of them, I said, because they're doing things. There's so many avenues of making income now. There's so many avenues of making income now. People ain't just doing one thing. They're tapping into their light. Go ahead.
Children all do it now. They receive their instructions on how to perform before they are born. They all pass the test, and the answer is yes. Bedtime is the best time not to let parents get any rest. Then the next morning, when your parents are grumpy and tired, you can sleep in while they foolishly get up and take care of business they believe they must do in order to be able to take care of you, instead of staying in bed and resting up with you so they too can be ready at night to cope with you and what you are then going to do. Because yes, you guessed it. The very next night, you'll be all rested and ready to give us another fight against bedtime. And all of the terrors it evokes, pestering and pressuring for the very most we can do. Never sleeping until it is all we can do to hold our eyes open long enough to tell one another that this won't do. We must get some rest. We'll just have to find another time to try to be lovers.
Now, what does that got to do with it? Remember when I told you the mother and the father, the mother didn't want to come and see the father at all. When they begin to have these children, okay, when we begin to have our birth, you understand? Mm-hmm. It's like, when children is always up under you and you just trying to be, you're trying to have your alone time with your husband and wife, and it's like, or your boyfriend and girlfriend or whatever, and it's like the children is like, can I get in? Daddy, can I have this? Mom, can I have this? And then you in the room, then your door closed, and then they bust in the door like they damn ninja. What y'all doing? Can I have some chips? Can I have this? Can I have this? And then you're like, exactly. And then you get frustrated. You start getting frustrated because it starts becoming a pattern and happening and happening and happening and happening and happening. Now think of that as, because we're cosmic beings, think of that as the creator and the mother of everything, the mother of all. Right. Think of it like that. And all of these damn children taking up and holding up time. Mm-hmm. And they're supposed to be getting back to them, because remember, it's a balance. You can't. Now think inside of yourself. You birth all these emotions, you birth all these non-emotion, you birthed all these strengths, you birthed everything inside of you that you have, all these personalities you have. You're not crazy. They're yours. They're all yours. Yes. They're all yours. There's nothing wrong with you. You don't need your pills or anything. Mm-hmm. What you need to do is stop denying the things about you that has kept holding you back because you refuse to acknowledge them. Whatever skeletons you have in your closet, you have to face them. It happened and you need to move on. Mm-hmm. Did I say it was going to be easy? I didn't say that. I said acknowledgement first. The acknowledgement part will make it a hell of a lot better. But you got to be able to shout it out loud. Where you at? Where we at? Yeah. Even though having all of you has made having more children almost impossible to do, the word lovers will no sooner have our lips than we both would feel that we couldn't risk being lovers until we figured out how not to have kids. I like that shit.
That means shut the warehouse down.
If you think this sounds unloving, you need to realize it's a wonder you weren't all choked or otherwise not allowed to survive. As overwhelmed as we were and unable to stop you, we felt like we had become parents too soon, caught by our hormones in a wave of unstoppable multiple births of spirits all needing a home. What did I just say? What I just said?
Oh my God! All of those kids chose me.
We became parents too soon, caught by our hormones in a wave of unstoppable multiple births of spirits all needing a home. That's why they say we come from the, so you see the Dogons say we come from there, and also we are cosmic beings. Right. Let me tell you something. They chose us. They choose their parents. And when they come down, it is us that they teach. They teach us. These kids teach us. They teach us how they are. That's why we have to allow the kids to, yes, we have to allow the kids to have their imagination, have their open mind, have to embrace it because it keeps their light. We had such dreams of how it could have been between us when you came along. We took you in our dreams and had to become dreams of how we could provide for you with our limited means. Follow me, parents. Unparented ourselves and coming from such extremely different points of view, we seldom, if ever, could agree on how to go about raising you. At times, we were desperate and thought all the things we might do to get rid of you, just as parents on earth often do too. You hear me? But whenever we thought of really moving toward of getting rid of you, we never could do it because there you would suddenly be looking so cute and sleeping so blissfully, or else playing so nice, or else playing so nicely. You reminded us of the love we had for you. Why you saved this behavior for such moments of stress, while all of the rest of the time you pestered, pressed, and pressured us nearly to death, always seemed to me to be a great mystery. You ever wonder why your kids do that? Trying to get you to understand the Father and the Mother. Do you understand? And the spirits in you.
There's a reason.
Do you understand why these kids? You ever notice why they? Oh my gosh! I just answered that question. Yeah, but how do you do? I just told you.
They're not finished. They're not done. And
Daddy, what?
You push them away. It's like, why do you think they keep asking you until you say yes? Because that's not what they want to hear.
You fail to realize, guys, you cannot be upset with these children. These children are prodigies. They are cosmic beings. They know. Their subconscious is lit, and we have to keep it lit for them. We have to. We are at the stage now. We are the ones now. We have to wake up the people who are already on track with us, because the others are just going to continuously fight it. I'm telling you, wait till bloodlines come up tomorrow. Y'all going to be shocked. This is serious. You are the most important thing to yourself and family. You are. And if you don't have a family, you are the most important thing to you.
Mm-hmm.
You are the most important thing to you, not your job, not people pulling you into situations and things like that. You can always say no. No feel good. Yo, I always say no. I love that shit.
Yes,
Hey,
no.
you going, nope. I ain't going to. Because if
ain't
I
gonna
don't
be able
feel
to
like it,
do
I'm
it.
not doing it. You ever know the feeling where you do something when you don't want to do it because in your mind you feel like if you don't do it, you're not a considerate person or you're not a nice person. Or you ever see this? You ever see these people? We in the DMV. We live in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. So you ever see this? You stop at the stop sign to let another car pass or a person pass, and you like, go ahead, man. And they like, and then you like, go ahead. Me, I'm like, go ahead. They like, I'm like, oh my God, I'm in a car. You walking. What time? How am I losing time? I'm still going to get to cross the street, man. Go move your car. That's me. I'm like, move, man. I'm not doing that. You feel like if you let me go, or you was being a good, what do you call it? A good citizen. You was being good. No, it don't mean nothing. There's no point.
Going on.
There's no point. There's no self. What is it? Help me out. Self. What is it? Not self-assurance. Not it's not a satisfaction you get. No, it's none of that. Just go ahead. Go ahead. I know how I am, and I accepted that shit. And all of them that's in me. I accepted that shit. You know why? Because I'm not running for it. There's times where I need each and every personality I have. There are situations that come in place where it'd be like, you need you. We need you, bro. You need to be at this situation. Come on, guys. Okay. Where was it? Oh, my continual, no. The mother always wanted to say it was because of you felt our rage and were afraid of it. My continual answer to this was, why then didn't you feel it before it came to this? If I can't get rid of you because I love you, and if this love is indeed true, then why would I cry so often over and over about why it didn't feel better to be with you? Do you see how these things and feelings happen? Do you see how these emotions between each other happen? This is an answer we all have to find, and in order to find it, there's a reality that has to be faced. To do this, you're going to have to keep it more real with me, or I cannot risk letting you into this place. I cannot go any farther with you than you are willing and able to go with me. Whenever I have you, whenever I have, you have always blamed what has happened to you on me. You see how we just switch blame? Mm-hmm. Didn't you do something on that already? With the switching of the blame? Because these dummies don't like to acknowledge what they are?
Maybe on my victim section.
Okay.
Playing the victim.
Okay, watch this. Watch this. Where we was at? Long ago, I put you out because you weren't understanding enough to see. So you wasn't understanding enough to be that close to me. Now the same is still true, but I am again trying to give you some help. I'm trying to give you some help, okay? If you want to bite my hand because you think I'm acting superior by daring to make this offer in this way to you, move back until you have expressed much of this rage as you can. If you have terror, you need to move that too, because the light doesn't want to make any more space for you to be closer to me than it is any closer to me than is good for you, which I would like you to know is also what feels comfortable to me. If you allow yourselves to move back when you need to, maybe I won't have to put you out again. What do you mean you have to put you out again? I put you out of creation how many times? I mean, this is not the first thing, it's the third creation. This is like, what she was telling, like 10th, 11th, maybe? What do you mean? We'll get into that tomorrow. Okay? If you cannot move at my speed, you're not my light, but a manifested spirit instead. Bach! If you cannot move at my speed, you are not my light. You ever have these fake pastors talking about I'm God and Jesus came to me, or this one came to me, or the highest of the most came to me, or the Buddha, or I reached Nirvana, whatever they say ever came to me and stuff. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. You know why? Because it said if you can't, what do you mean if you can't keep up with my speed, you're not my light, but a manifested spirit instead? I'm gonna tell you. That's right. But getting comfortable with it is not going to be that easy for you, since for so long you have insisted you are my light and believed it was true because you succeeded in holding me back to your level with you. This is the guilty parent and not my light as I'm moving now. I am a big nebula of expanding light, and all that I ask is that you find your right place in it or outside of it, as the case may be. What did he just say? I'll go back. I am a big nebula of expanding light, and all I ask is that you find your right place in it or outside of it, as the case may be. So let's go. For some of you, the first time we tried to move you back, it came as a great storm of rage from the mother. After that, I tried a reasonable approach, but none of it made any real difference. You still will not listen and denied so much here. You think you do not remember that night so long ago when I put you out and shut our bedroom door. But all you should know that you have repeated this ever since on the night your parents decided you could no longer be in the room with them because they wanted their privacy for conversation of their own and for having sex.
Let's get to the nitty-gritty.
Get to the nitty-gritty. And on the night when they put you out of their room, they found themselves just like us, trying to hold down the noise they wanted to make while also listening to hear if they really were all right, since most of you cried and put up such a terrible fight. We worried about whether others were giving you trouble or help, and we worried about whether any or all of you might climb out of bed and come sneaking back down the hall, pressing your ears to the door or the wall and trying to peep through the peephole to see through the crack between the floor and the door of what mommy and daddy doing.
Are you having fun?
Chances are your mothers lobbied for you, and from their viewpoint saw your fathers as rather heartless and cruel because your mothers were not finding sex to have the same great appeal that your fathers were feeling. Chances are your mothers had turned more toward you because little you had a softness they found missing in the dads that you had. This led to fighting at first, sleeping in separate rooms, and at last, a lot of blame being shifted off into you. What did I just do to y'all?
Think on it.
What did I just do to y'all? You didn't know that? Think about it now if you have kids. Think about it now. We're not saying the children are the blame for the big. We're saying the lack of acknowledgement of yourself in them is what led to it.
Mm-hmm.
They are you. Yes, they're cosmic beings, but they are you.
Mm-hmm.
They are you, teaching you how they are. They teach us how we should be.
Mm-hmm.
They are the better versions of us. That's your real cloning. Dude, I just fucked y'all head up, yo. At times we thought there was just something wrong with you. At other times, we thought it was unfortunate genes.
Mm.
We thought it was unfortunate genes we had given to you or some mistake we had made in raising you. You see how we blamed ourselves? We tried and tried to make this up to you, but we just didn't know what to do with you. Whatever we did that we thought would help never helped you for so long. Whatever gain we thought you had made, you soon lost. You acted like you just didn't know how to keep it. You acted like you had simply forgotten whatever we had done for you. And anyway, whatever it wasn't enough for you. See, when kids start feeling like that about us, and we say, like, what are you talking about? I just bought you this. I just bought you that. I just did this. I just did that. Watch this. I put a roof over your head. I birthed you. You know, your clothes on your back. I don't beat you. You don't get punished. You have this. Yeah. You never wanted these losses blamed on you. It was always caused by someone else who had it in for you. The more we did to try to help you, the more you squeezed us and seemed not to notice how little it pleased us to give you so much, only to hear your continual claim that we did nothing for you because your life stayed the same, unhappy and miserable all the time. And why didn't we fix it for you? Because after all, what are parents for? That's how the kids is feeling.
What are parents for?
You see that shit?
Mm-hmm.
And then after they get that, you're like, oh, it's just puberty. Oh, they're just going through phase. No, that's what we have thought all this time. But no, it's not phases. It's not.
It's deeper than that.
It's much more deeper than that. The mother and I blamed ourselves and each other. You helped us here because no matter what we did, you always said it wasn't done for you, but for ourselves instead. Excuse me. We could barely approach the subject for you with each other. We were afraid to approach this issue of how we really felt because this in front of you, especially when our feelings did not feel loving towards you. Okay? The pressures from you all day long made us feel like we couldn't get a moment alone. And since you never moved very far away from us, we tried not to go into these feelings all day long. Then at night, the battle will start about whose needs hasn't been sufficiently met yet, and who hasn't ready for and who wasn't ready for bed because they still wanted to play, who couldn't think of a thing to do except follow us around all day, but we're now suddenly busy and couldn't possibly stop yet, who couldn't sleep because they just wasn't tired or ready. And what more you wanted us to do for you that we hadn't done already.
Ponder on that, my friends.
Vibrating heartlessness to let heart in. This is all about the heart. Heart chakra, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's yellow?
Solar plexus.
There we go. Now, Oh snap! Where was I? Okay, sympathy wasn't the last thing we had grown to expect from you because you always saw things from your own point of view, and from there always made it so abundantly clear that whatever was wrong had been inherited from us and was not your fault. Of course, all of this was avoidance of terror of the darkness of night because the gap rage had no light and terror that if you fell asleep or felt us alone, we just might have time to discuss you and terror of what we then might do. So often we fell into bed too late to be lovers. We were too tired, too disgruntled to relate to each other until the pressure grew into a great big fight, which couldn't be hidden from you, even though we certainly tried. Later, we wondered if we still loved each other since we could find the time to fight, but no time to be lovers. Listen, see you yawning. Listen, we're going to jump around this book because you ain't ready for this yet, so we're going to jump. You see the problem is that heart now needs to be let in. Because in your mind, you thought just by being married and having a family, that was it, but your heart wasn't 100% in it. I told you, heart is a spirit. It's not just an organ inside of you. Heart is a spirit, and you have to allow it to keep that balance. It holds everything together. The issue is when you go ahead and you create the children, you think your work is done. Put my child in school, put it in soccer, baseball, whatever. We are like soccer parents now, right? You go ahead, you do that, you put them there, you put them here, and all of that. And you think by doing that, that's it for them. But then as they get older, they still are ungrateful and they feel like this and they feel that way. And you actually say, well, why are you doing that when I did all of this for you? Because again, remember, all of the things that you were thinking, the time you were conceiving them, the time and moment during sex, what you and your partner were thinking during that moment, it ended all of the denials, all of the positives and the negatives that you thought might happen between you and that person, all of the judgments that you were thinking at the time. Every time y'all did it, it ended up to be in the children. So what you're seeing is the reflections of those denials from you and him. That's what you're seeing in the children. Now you know. Now you get it. That is you that you didn't choose to correct. You didn't choose to acknowledge. So it became your child. Plain and simple. Tomorrow, we're gonna get into the burnout. We're gonna do 2 hours for tomorrow.
Yeah, we're gonna get on early.
Yeah, we're gonna get on early because I'm off tomorrow.
I'm gonna drink some coffee for y'all.
It's fine. No, you had to read that to them because that ego, escapism had a lot to do with this right here because there's a lot of escapism with the parents and the children. We just went through that just now. They got to be able to realize that with their children. There's nothing wrong with your child. Trust me, there's nothing wrong with your child when having nothing. You just have to realize all of those judgments and doubts that you had when you were, doing your thing in the bedroom with your husband or with your wife. You know what I'm saying? It became your children. All of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All of them. Okay? The good thing I like about my daughters, all of their personalities are different. They know exactly how they are and I love that shit. I love that shit. And I don't stop them from being nothing.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So I want y'all to stay tuned for tomorrow. I want y'all to have a night good.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And My muscles are sore. I'm doing that stuff. We did another kung fu workout. I'm doing a new style, and man, oh man, small
What
old
the
man,
ox?
small what is it? Aracas, small arhat boxing. Oh my goodness, that thing goes. Oh man. But we got it in, and I told y'all we're gonna bring Stability Core back. We are. I mean, we could do one tomorrow. I just gotta write the workouts out, but it won't be on this channel. It'll be on Stability Core. So I'm not putting this. This is just what this is, and then Stability Core. We had Stability Core before this, so we're gonna be back putting stuff up on there. So we going. I'm telling them everything.
Peace out.